that you came to join us. Happy 2025. I'm so glad to be back here, and I have a very special guest in the building with me today, Councilwoman Chauna Banks.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. You look phenomenal. Let me just say that. You look amazing.
Thank you.
You are now transitioning out of governmental, the governmental field, but you're going, are you staying there or what's next?
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
So I have served 3 4-year terms on the East Baton Rouge Parish Metropolitan Council.
Oh, wow.
That's a long time. Having run in 2012, accepted the oath of office in 2013.
Wow.
And December 31st, 2024, I ended that cycle of government leadership in elected capacity.
Wow. You did phenomenal. And that's a pretty big chunk of time out of your life. You know, that is 12 years is a long time. I know one of the questions that you say you get asked often was, how old were you when you went into office?
Yes. So I was 50 years old.
That's
I'm
a
63
blessing.
now. And I'm very glad that I started at 50 because I was already defined as to who I was. I already had a career. I had reared my son, I had an only child. And so all of that not only caused me to avail the time necessary to serve in the way that my community really needed to be served, but also my foundation for character, integrity, and vision was already in place. So I think that was an asset for me in leadership.
And what made you go into that field?
Well, actually, it was actually the Lord called me.
Amen.
And I know a lot of people say that as a cliche, but actually I could not speak in public. If I tried to speak in public, I would begin to perspire profusely.
Really?
I would see stars and everything would go black. And I was actually at church one day and I felt the unction to run for office. And I talked to a few people and was seeking confirmation from the Lord. And at an altar call, I said, Lord, what is it? Is it you or is it me? And he said, I'm going to make a spectacle of you. And that actually caused my heart to drop.
I was about to say.
When I'm there and say, don't go out there
Making a spectacle of yourself.
And so I'm like, I don't hear the rest of the service because I'm trying to figure out, I thought the Lord loves me. Why you want to make a spectacle of me?
That's so true.
And on my way home, when I got home, I Googled spectacle. And it said an unusual occurrence.
Come on.
And I said, the Lord wants me to do something very special, something that had not been done before,
Unusual.
and something that he did not have a roadmap, but I would have to put my faith and trust in him.
Amen. And look at you now, huh?
Yes.
You would never be able to tell that you were not always elite in public speaking, because the way that you elocute your words, you're sitting with such confidence, you would never imagine. So did it happen gradually, or was it when God told you that that's what you're going to do? Did you take classes? I mean, because how did you get from there to this?
Absolutely. I literally did no research on what it meant to be a counselor. So in running for office, it was only until I won that I knew that I would be a department head for the George A. Newman Community Center. I did not know, and I've never been in a supervisory position. I'm a career employee with East Baton Rouge Parish School System. I'm a school counselor, mental health counselor. I've never wanted to be a supervisor in any capacity.
Wow.
I've always felt that I was average. And I would tell my mom I'm average, and she said, no, you're not. But I was satisfied with being average as well.
Understand.
I like
Contentment.
pushing other people ahead. I would never one that sought the spotlight. And so My mother was an English teacher, so that may account for my ability to speak.
It shows.
Yeah. But other than that, you know, I did not know, but I did study the agenda. I did study government, and when you were an elected official, and I somehow became either a favorite or someone that created news, both good and bad. I was always interviewed, whether it's television, media, or, you know, magazines. So even nationally, you know, I would get interviews when things were going on in Baton Rouge, you know, asking me to interview. So it was just, you know, the favor of the Lord that He crafted me in such a way that I was able to represent.
You do so well at it. So now that we're transitioning,
yes.
Was that easy? Should I say that? Were you ready to just let it go? And did you prepare for it? And then what was the next thought?
Sure. So a year before I knew my term was in year 11, I ran unsuccessfully for state representative.
Okay.
Against an incumbent. So what I was thinking that if I would have won the state rep, I probably would have retired from my job so I could be a dedicated servant in the state representative, House representative. Once that did not happen, I began, I always had another plan. It just so happened I had taken 6 months off after the election to see if I could afford to retire.
Oh, that's
well,
right.
You know what 2024 has been in regards to inflation.
Yes, ma'am.
So that 6 months let me know you better go back.
It's not time.
You know. So I returned to work for the school semester in July, and I actually got a raise where I worked 12 months a year. I started a consulting company called Strategy Consulting because one of the things I realized as a state representative, I'm good at connecting people and bringing plans together. And then I also have a passion for nonprofit work. So I'm involved with 2 nonprofits, the Scholarly Area Foundation, which I'm a 3-generation scholar, I call that the capital of District 2.
Come on.
So to continue that work and really work with the youth. And the other is Moon Star Village to build studio housing for old-age foster kids. So those are things that, while I anticipate working 3 more years with the school system, those are some things that I'm putting in place to continue my work in the community.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Working in the school system, was that influential by your mom?
Yes, both my parents were educators, actually. But also in high school, they forbade me to be a teacher. And I think I tell parents all the way, never tell kids what they shouldn't do.
Because that's what they're going to want to do.
And that's not only that, it's because I honored my parents. I honored them, so that whatever they said, I was that kid. But I think that's what I was called to do in some capacity, but they took it off the map for me, and it caused me to be delayed. So I went back, I graduated from college in actually computer science.
Okay.
In 83, and I went back to graduate school 15 years in counseling. And after working with state government, that's how I transitioned back to the school system. And because I did so well, my mom she said, I never should have told you not to be a teacher. She said, if it was so difficult for me and your dad, I didn't want you to go through that. Whereas no matter where you are, if things are going to be difficult. So I've never, because of that, I always tell parents as a counselor to encourage their kids to do whatever it is they want to do.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. That journey, though, I can see that it prepared you to be a government official. All of that experience in the school system and going to school and not knowing what you wanted to do, but then kind of knowing where your passion was, finding yourself. Like you said, I knew who I was when I became a government official. Do you think that that does play a part in the way that maybe our younger government officials made?
Well, absolutely, you know, the Metro Council is built of 12 members.
Okay,
And then we also have the executive branch, which is the mayor's office.
got it.
And in my experiences of seeing mayors and different 12 council members over the years, I do realize, because I've had an eclectic experience, that I see things from a higher vision than most do, and you know, and not to be derogatory, but I notice that people who are one-dimensional, if you will, they think one-dimensional and they can't think past that. And that is why we end up with things like an inequitable distribution of funding. That's why we end up with a North Baton Rouge and a South Baton Rouge.
Right.
That's why we end up with all the issues on the council that don't make sense, because people are the compilation of their experiences. So when we're talking, they don't see the value, they can't understand it, and if you haven't lived it. But because I've had first generation college parents whose siblings have also been college graduates and, you know, went on to upper echelon.
Yes, ma'am.
And all those experiences, not to mention working in the school system, working with the state, having a business.
Yes, ma'am.
It opened my mind to the understanding and knowing generationally. I had both sets of my grandparents. So I know the fight that my grandparents had. I know the sacrifices they made for my parents. I knew my parents being first generation college students and the impact that had on their siblings and us, me and my siblings.
Yes, ma'am.
So all those things have played into me understanding things from an even playing field that most don't gravitate to.
I see that. I see it. Lately on the news, I've been hearing a lot about what's the plans for North Baton Rouge? What's next for North Baton Rouge? How can we make it more equitable? How can we make it more, how can we improve North Baton Rouge?
Right.
What do you think, honestly?
So in all honesty, the buzzword of North Baton Rouge was actually created by me and several advocates, politicians, educators with the North Baton Rouge Blue Ribbon Commission.
Okay.
It was something that I commissioned in 2015, having seen the deficits of our community and not being able to explain that with the media, with the government officials. So we created boundaries for North Baton Rouge that said everything north of Hooper, with Florida being the median.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not reality. That's not a map. That was only meant to show the disparity. Now it has become a buzzword. For the last 10 years, getting health care was one of the things. I got that. Increased housing, I got that. Jobs and bringing business to the community, I was able to get that. Right now, the only thing as it relates to quality of our life, assets that have not been founded is a grocery store. And I'm currently working on that. In my last year, we started the Scholarly Food Access Commission, and those things are moving along quite well. However, what I am concerned, it's two things. When we have a black mayor, we've had two black mayors that were from North Baton Rouge. However, for whatever reason, did not make North Baton Rouge a priority, a talking point, or a priority. Here we are with a white mayor who ran on that platform.
That's what I was getting.
The concern with that is it's twofold.
Yes, ma'am.
The black people should have done it, and not white people about to get rich off North Baton Rouge. That's what I see.
You better say that.
That's what I see about
Yes,
that.
ma'am. I was at a conference not too long ago. It was a state conference, and they were saying how expected mothers living in that area of North Baton Rouge with the closing of Eric Long and how long it took to get to Women's Hospital. It would take them 2 hours going on a bus ride and 2 hours coming back. That's 4 hours to get to the doctor to be checked for your child. To me, that's heartbreaking.
Yes,
To know that I would have to travel 4 hours just to get health care.
right.
I would have wanted them to be able to save that facility or hospital, but was it that it needed to be improved, or what was the real reason why we think we got rid of that?
So Eric Long ended during the Gender administration.
Yes.
The decision to have LSU Healthcare run the Louisiana Charity Health, community is what brought that about.
Okay.
And, I don't know all the
Understood.
difficulties, but I'll pick up again where in 2015, where we began to do research on the distance from persons in North Baton Rouge getting any kind of health care. And the closest hospital being Our Lady of the Lake,
Yes.
if we're going south. And knowing, EMS, for instance, if EMS is called to somewhere in North Baton Rouge and they have to take someone to a hospital or Long, not only is there a waiting period, not only is there the transition period, they have to come all the way to their hub in North Baton Rouge, clean it out, clear it out, sanitize it. It may have been a shift change. So all of that hindered the ability for people to have mobile. As it relates to maternal health and transportation, one of the things, there's always infighting, and to be honest, our goal was to get a complete hospital in Howell Place. That was a 3-story building, easy to build out.
Great.
Other than these advocates that I'm talking about, I could not get state representation to spend. I couldn't get a senator or a state representative in North Baton Rouge to speak to John Bell Edwards about that.
Wow.
So those are the things that we don't like to talk about in our Black community. We want everybody to be kumbaya, and it's easy for us to attack Donald Trump.
That's true.
It's easy for us to attack Jeff Landry.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to attack Sid Edwards. But a lot of the things that are going on in our community, it's really Black on Black violations in the political arena.
Yes, ma'am.
But in speaking that, you become hated. The hate is on. But those are the realities of it. We do not do right by our people in public office. And, we have spurts of that, but holistically, with fidelity, 100% of the time, it's not there, and it's gotten even worse.
Oh, geez, you have blessed the floor today. Thank you.
Oh, bless you.
No, ma'am, I love it. The way you spoke with such passion and honesty. It really is. That makes more sense than what I hear on the news every day of what they're telling me, what they're feeding me, versus what we see, the obvious.
Yes.
Is there any last thing that you would like to share with No Stone Unturned?
Turn over some stones.
That's it.
No, I guess if there were any lasting, I would say that there is no Calvary. People really need to get educated as it relates to what public service is about. What do you want with your community? It is not about like and dislike. It is not about social media posts. It's not about who gave the biggest back to school bash. It's not about us being concert producers. It is not the big parties. We have to get to the point where we're about the business of taking care of communities. bringing communities to a place of equitable abilities is there.
Yes.
That's what I'm about with my Scholarville Area Foundation. I know what happened. I know it didn't happen because of anybody in Scholarville. I know it happened because of government. And I believe government has a price to pay. And that's where I stand on that.
Yes, ma'am. Please let No Stone Unturned know where they can find you. If they need you, where can they find you?
You can't, no.
Are you on any social media?
I am Chauna Banks,
Okay.
Chauna D. Banks. That's my private, but everybody messaged me on it and everything. You know, the other things are again our school, nonprofits, and my consulting. I'm working on getting the website and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
But other than that, Chauna Banks, Chauna D. Banks. When you call me, then I say, well, email me here. Here's my phone number, depending on who it is. But you know, I've even as an elected official, I was very engaged. People saw me anywhere, and everywhere. So I never changed as it relates to that.
And still as stylish as ever.
I tried.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming to
you
No
for
Stone
having me.
Unturned and blessing the table. We really, really thank you. Guys, give it up one time for the councilman, Chauna
Thank you
Banks.
so much.
Until next time, No Stone Unturned, you will see us. You know where to find us. Come on back for next time. We love y'all. Bye.